Did you know that the radius you choose for your low frequency separation layer is as important as your brushing skill set? Did you get that? I'm going to repeat myself again. Did you know that the radius you choose for your low frequency separation layer is as important as your brushing skill set? What do I mean? Oops, forgive my manners. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So guys, what we'll be doing today is how do we get the right and proper radius for your frequency separation. If this is the first time you're hearing frequency separation is about a retouching skill set by which we separate the color and skin tone from the texture. Do you get it? We separate color and skin tone from the texture. I think I'll need to do a short video on that explaining the concept behind frequency separation, but it won't be this particular tutorial. This tutorial is basically meant for how to choose the proper radius for your frequency separation. So your low frequency separation layer represents the color and skin tone of your portrait, while your high frequency separation layer represents the texture. So I've done a basic work on this portrait already. As you can see, I just removed some of the blemishes. Not much. She's having a nice skin, actually. Nice skin. So I just did a little job on it. You can see just little, I don't know, I think there are some of this shining stuff from her clothing that dropped on her face, so it's kind of too much on her forehead, so I had to reduce it. There are some on the fingers as well, but then I had to leave those ones. They are not much, so just little adjustment I've done to this portrait. I took this portrait myself, and yeah, back into why we are here. I don't want to be distracted. You've seen a lot of images online and you see portraits, you see they are retouching, you fall in love with them. And I believe most times you are asking yourself questions on how do they get those flawless skin texture, and the alignment is so beautiful. I know most of us have been in that stage that we've been asking questions on how do they go about it. Myself, I went through a lot of struggles finding way of getting it while I started retouching some years back. But then there's one thing I realized, and the secret is what I'm about to share with you. Enough of you guessing radius. Some people, when they are retouching, all they do is they just guess. If you want, okay, let me tell you this. If you want your image, your portrait that you are retouching, if you want the texture to be, so if you want much texture, your radius needs to be increased. And if you want a soft skin texture, then it has to be low radius. But then beyond that, there is a way you can check before you even go into the brushing, or if it's lasso tool you are using, before you go into the proper frequency separation, there's a way you can check and to know what the outcome will look like. So, and that's exactly what I'm about to share with you. I won't waste your time. So the first thing you need to do is create a new visible mesh layer. How do you do that? You can press on your keyboard Ctrl Shift Alternate E. Ctrl Shift Alternate E. Just like this, Ctrl Shift Alternate E. You have something like this. But if you are the type like me that don't like keyboard, honestly for me, I don't really like keyboard much. So there's a way you can do it manually as well. Just come to the bottom right corner of your Photoshop, create a new layer just like this. Then you come to your image, then you come to apply image. Do you see it? Apply image. Make sure your layer is set to mesh, and your blending option, change it to multiply. Do you get it? Your layer should be merged, your channel RGB, and your blending should be multiplied. Then just hit OK. Once you hit OK, you should have a new layer just like this. So what do we want to do? We want to go into frequency separation proper. So what do? We create a new layer. Just Ctrl J to duplicate layer. We have two. So we name this first one low frequency separation. Just name it as low. You can name it anything as far as you know what you're working on. Then this is high. So don't forget, please, I told you low represents the color and the skin tone, and high represents the texture. So what we do with frequency separation is we are separating the skin tone and the color from the texture so that we can work independently on each layer without affecting the other. What do I mean? You can work on your color and skin tone without affecting the texture, and you can work on your texture without affecting the skin tone and color. That is the beauty of frequency separation. So what do we need to do? Let's create let's put them into group first. So hold your shift and press the two, both the high and low, and just use Ctrl G or Command G to group them. So we can now open just like this. Once you have this, come to your low, turn off the I button that you have on your high frequency separation layer. Just go with the low, then we'll come to our blur. So now the first thing that should come to your mind whenever you want to start retouching is, what do you want to achieve? Like, honestly, I do say this in most of my videos, that there should be something you want to do before you even set out to retouch an image, depending on what you want, or probably what your client wants from you. Some clients want their images very soft, so if you have that type of client, then you don't have any option than to just give them what they want. But if you are doing it and there is no restriction from clients, just to do yourself, then do your thing or do whatsoever you want. Then I think for me, what I do most is I make sure that these images are as natural as possible. That's my type, that's my pattern, that's my style. I love it, except otherwise, like I said earlier. So I love them very natural. So now if you look at this image very well, it's super sharp. The sharpness is okay for me. So, and she's having a nice skin, clean skin actually. And so the next thing you want to do is you come to your blur, come to your Gaussian blur. Okay, take it way back to 0.1. There's this popular thing we know about that I learned also, that you keep on increasing the radius till you get to a point that the skin texture starts fading away, then you stop. That is the general belief about frequency separation, but I think there is more to it than that. Honestly, from what I've seen and what I've observed so far and what I've done with it, there's more to that. You can, even after the skin texture started fading away, you can still keep on increasing it. Yes, I repeat, you can still keep on increasing your radius. It depends on whether you want it so natural or you want a very soft skin texture. That is just the truth. So you have no restriction on whether you stop at where your skin texture start fading away, or you get this idea of skin texture fading away. Once the skin texture is fading away, then you stop. No, you can keep increasing even when you can't see the skin texture again completely, and you can reduce the radius to something around 1 to, let me show you something. If we keep increasing this radius, you can see the texture is fading away gradually. Just look at the forehead here. Let's focus on the forehead. Okay, let me bring it here so that we see. If we keep increasing, just using my mouse to increase and increase and increase, if you look at it very well, at around 3.5, the skin texture started fading away. You can see we're having a blur texture. You see the texture is fading away, and this is what I'm trying to explain the other time. You can keep increasing as high as, let's say, even 18. You could see even 13. You can see at this point now we can't even see any texture again. Now you might have it at the back of your mind that if you brush with this kind of radius, then it will destroy your image. No, it won't destroy your image. It will not. I repeat, it will not destroy your image. It will only make you achieve what you want to achieve. As simple as that. If you want your retouching, if you want your retouching and the post-production after the whole thing, if you want it as natural as possible, you can take it as high as this, and in fact you still get what you want. That is the truth. And then you can bring it as low as, let's say, 1.3. In fact, I've seen people retouching image with around 0.3. It sounds crazy, right? Or it will be super soft. I mean very soft. At the end of the edit, at the end of retouching, the skin texture will look like, I don't know if this is the proper word to use, like glass, very smooth and shining. So if you want that, you can try that out as well, honestly. But it could be very destructive. So if you are doing that, you need to be very careful. So what am I trying to say? Now let's go where we are going to. So let me take it as high as 4.6. Okay, let's say 5.8. You can see from here that the texture is gone completely. So I still want to take it up as high as around 7. Completely gone. When I started retouching, I don't dare try 7 points. Once it's like this, I feel like it's going to destroy my image. No, it's not going to. So let's hit OK. So we'll come to our high. Hold on, it's loading. Something is wrong. Okay, we're here. So we'll come to our high after you might have turned on the I button there. So you come to image, apply image. Okay, so we'll change this layer to we'll change it to low. You get, because we are working on we are applying this image now, the high layer to the low layer. So change it to low, which is the skin and the skin tone and the color. Then you come to your blending, you change your blending to subtract. Where is that subtract again? Okay, subtract here. Fine. Here we go. And you make sure your scale is 2 and offset 128. Actually, these numbers are not magic. There is a calculation behind it, but the explanation is not for this tutorial. There's a calculation behind it. But do you even need to know? For knowledge sake, you might want to know, and probably I will explain that in some other tutorial. But just have it at the back of your mind that the scale is 2 and the offset is 128 when you are using the blending or subtract. Now, if you look at the image now, okay, hold on. Let me zoom it closer. Let's bring it closer. Okay, come to your image, apply image. Remember to change this to low and this subtract. Now, look at the image carefully. You can see the alignment of the skin texture from here like this. So this is where you know if you are to continue with the radius you've selected and if it's a perfect radius for the purpose to which you've chosen it for. This is where to know. Before you go into retouching, before you go into brushing the image, this is where you detect. For me, this particular radius is perfect. I think we use around 7 or 7 point something. This is perfect for me because from here you can, if the way you see the skin texture here is exactly the way it's going to come out when you are brushing. That is the secret. I discovered that the exact way you are saying it right now, the skin texture, the alignment, the how the texture are so obvious and the rest, that's the same way when you are brushing. It's just going to be like this, the same way. Do you get it? So let's hit OK. Then the next thing you do is you change your blending option from normal to linear light. From normal to linear light. You see, this is what we have now. Now, I want to show you another thing, and I'll be brushing separately. Okay, before I show you the next thing, let's pick up our brush. I will just brush the forehead so that you see something. Let's duplicate this layer. Okay, set up my brush. My wet is set to 3. I love it that way. It gives me absolute control over the image. So now let's see. Please, whenever you are brushing, don't zoom in into the picture too much so that you can see exactly what you are doing. And even if at all you are going to do this, you can set up your navigator around here. The way to do that is just click on your window and come to your where is it again, navigator here, and boom, you can have it so that even you can have it, you can put it somewhere around here so that even as you are brushing you can still have an idea of what the whole image is talking about, so that if there's a destructive something you are not, take for instance, let me show you something. If I destroy here like this, maybe something like this, you see this is destructive already the way I brush. I might not be able to see it clearly because I've zoomed in into the image so much that I might not be seeing it that is so obvious like this. But if you set up your navigator like this, it will show you the complete portrait, and through that you can always see the error. Do you get it? So For me, I don't need a navigator. For you, if you need it, fine. I don't need that for now. I'm just trying to show you. So let's just press Ctrl Z. Okay. Okay, fine. Pick up your brush. Now, we'll start brushing. Make sure when you are brushing, another thing you need to know, when you are brushing, brush the shadow area separately, brush the highlight separately. Don't mix them together. Don't mix them together. If you mix them together, it will mix your highlight into your shadow, and which will be very destructive. So let's try and brush. I want this image as natural as possible, so I won't be doing too much brushing. Okay, like this, like this. Remember the way when we were applying the image and changing the blending option, I told you that the exact thing you saw then is what you are going to see when you start brushing. I hope I'm proving you right now, or I'm proving my point right, rather, and you can see for yourself that is the exact thing. Look at it now, before and after. You can see the exact skin texture is just, you are just going to have it just that way. No magic about it. You are going to have it that way. It's not going to reduce. Not going to reduce. It's just going to be the exact thing you've seen. So it will help you a lot to know if you've chosen the right skin texture or the right radius rather, or not. Now look at it before, after. Can you even see any difference? As natural as possible. Let's see before. This is after. Very natural. I mean very natural. If it's not 100%, this is, at least this will give you an A, around 80 thereabout. It's as natural as possible. Just look at it again, please. Just look at it again. Before and after. Very natural. Now, let me show you another example. Let's create a new merge visible layer. Remember I told you Ctrl Shift Alternate E will give us another one. So let's duplicate the layer, Ctrl J. So let's name this low frequency separation 1. Enter. Then high 1 as well, so that we won't get confused if you are working on them later. So now come to this place. We want to create a new frequency layer. So let's apply our blur. Remember what I told you? Blur. This time around, let's assume we want to make the image a little bit soft. So let's take it downward. Let's use around 2.5. Can you see? Let's use around 2.5. Click OK. Then come to your high. Come to your apply image. Come to your image. Apply image. Then we are changing this low. Remember, this is the previous low we use, so we are not applying to this low again. We are applying to this low one. You get? Boom. Can you see it? Okay. Let's zoom closer so that we'll see. That's the most important part of this. Okay. Let's turn this off. Okay. I think we made a mistake. Let's delete this group layer. Sorry about that. Okay, let's turn this off so that it won't mix up with what we've done. So let's turn this off. The first group that we created for frequency separation, let's turn it off. Let's create a new merge layer now. Ctrl Alternate E. Ctrl Shift Alternate E. Okay, new layer. Image, apply image, changes to multiply. Where's our multiply again, please? Okay, I'll multiply. And merge. Okay, fine, fantastic. So now let's duplicate the layer, Ctrl J. Let's put them into group. Okay, please always name your layer. Let's change this to low. Naming helps orderliness. There's no special thing about naming. It's just for you to always keep track with what you are doing. That's all. So low 1, then we change this one to high 1. Okay, So now let's come to low. Turn this eye off. Whenever you're doing frequency separation, you need to turn the eye off, then blur only the low. So let's come to our blur. The value we wanted to use the other time is 2.5. So just click OK. Then come to your eye, come to your image, apply image. Once you get to your apply image, you are working on low 1. So set it on low 1, then change this to subtract. Remember? Now, just look at it. Can you see any skin texture again? You hardly see it. Hold on. Let's zoom it even closer. Come to your image. Let's apply the image now. Apply image low 1. Change your blending to subtract. Okay. Now, before we hit OK, you can see that when we are working on 2.5 now, you can see the way the skin texture is here. So now, if you want your skin texture to be like this, if you want the outcome of your retouching, if you want the skin alignment to be as soft as this, just go for this. This is the stage you know if the radius you've used is perfect for what you aim to achieve. So if you look at it from here like this, it's very soft. For me, I don't want this, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to use this and brush a little bit so that you can see the difference. The idea is not for me to teach you how to brush or anything today. The idea is just for me to show you how to pick the proper radius and how you can check and to know if you've chosen the proper radius before you even start brushing. So that is the idea, and that is the reason or motive behind this tutorial. So now if you look at this very well, you discover that the skin texture is smooth. Some persons want it like this. I don't want it like this, but some people want it like this, and it's fine as well. It's not as if it's not fine. It's beautiful. Let's see it. So you can see from here now, you can know. If you don't, now this is the trick. If you don't want the skin texture to be as smooth as this, or you don't want the skin alignment like this, you can just cancel and set up a new blur. You get, before you go into brushing. So it's as easy as that. You can just cancel it, delete whatever layer you've created, create a new one, check choose a new blur and see again if it's actually what you wanted. So let's click on OK. Then we'll change the blending option to linear light. Now let's brush. Duplicate the layer. You discover that now our brushing will be smooth. Let's start from here. Can you see it? Please be careful when you are brushing. Make sure you increase the size of your brush accordingly to areas that are small. The small area of the face or of the body, use a smaller brush, and the big part you can increase your brush. But please be careful not to damage your image and brush the sensitive shadow into highlight, or the highlight as well into shadow. That might change the look of your client or of the model. So now you can see from this little brushing, let's just continue. Let's brush this part. Now look at it. Fine, fantastic. Look at before and after. Do you see the softness? You can see it before and after. This is the second group we created, right? Let's check it off. Let's come back to the first one. See the first one, see the before and after. You see that this one is way more natural actually, but then do you spot the difference that here now, the same thing we saw while trying to apply the image to a low frequency separation, this is the exact outcome you are going to get. You can see it. See before and after. Sharp texture, obvious, and the rest. And the second layer we created, see before, see after. Soft, just like the way we saw it while trying to apply the image, trying to do our apply image to our low frequency separation. So that is exactly what I wanted to show you, and that is how to check if you've chosen the right radius for your frequency separation. So guys, if you've truly understood what I have explained earlier, and you pick up an image and you retouch. At the end of the day, you should come to have something like this. You can see at the end of the retouch, it should be something like this. For me, this is so natural enough at the end. So like I said, it's not about to teach you how to retouch, it's just for me to tell you how to choose the right radius before you start brushing for your frequency separation. So guys, this brings us to the end of the tutorial. Please, if you know you've learned something today, do share, make comment, and subscribe. It's very important. Please subscribe to this channel, and it's a promise, I'll be doing a video. Might not be the next one, but very soon I'm going to be doing a video on what is frequency separation, and in that tutorial I'll be explaining more on what frequency separation is all about. See you in my next tutorial.